Nolan Wall friends are up to no good, man. I can't put my finger on it, but something nefarious, in my opinion, is currently happening, man. And I don't know what. But let's take a look at the details, okay? Nolan Wall friends, Warren and Jax, have apparently went back to the island. For whatever reason, because I don't know, they went back to the island. Now, if these people are considered suspects, why are they being allowed to go back to the island? Like, shouldn't the suspects stay away from the murder scene if this could be a potential homicide and if they could be potential suspects? I've never seen potential suspects being allowed to go back to the alleged crime scene, okay? But yeah, they went back. Now, they're not saying why. They're pretty mum about it. They're pretty quiet about it. They're pretty hush about it. But they went back to the island and they took pictures. Warren and Jax was apparently the two people who went initially. However, they're saying a third friend, Morgan Seymour, plans on returning back to the island. What are they planning on doing on that island? I'm so confused. Like, why are they going back? What's the purpose? Right? And to me, that needs to be something that's stated. That needs to be something that they like publicize and blast. Right? Because that takes away, or it raises the suspicion, I should say, and takes away the trust in the process. Because if these people are allowed to go back and leave and then come back and leave and come back and leave and come back and leave, that's like a suspect going to the crime scene, coming back, bruh, when is that allowed? Now, they put out further statements. Now, they says, we are proud to stand with and fight for 3 completely innocent young men, the attorney said in a joint statement. We'll be focused solely on the truth, which is that these innocent young men had nothing whatsoever to do with the tragic death of Nolan Wells. Now, here's the thing. Even CNN was concerned. CNN was like, what? So CNN says, they reached out to the sheriff department and said, yo, what's your reaction to these 3 dudes who are potential suspects going back to the island? No one has been arrested or charged in the case, but what's your thoughts? Apparently, the sheriff did not respond back. They gave no statements whatsoever. But here's the interesting part about this, okay? So when I scroll up, there's a name I see. Now, apparently this dude right here is one of the 2 dudes who took pictures, a guy named Edward Palzik. And the reason why that name caught my eye and like raised my antenna is because that's not your first time hearing about Edward. You probably haven't noticed his name, but Edward is also an attorney for another white guy who has been accused by the public of murdering a black woman, right? This was a really, really, really publicized death before the Nolan Wells situation.
Very latest from the family of a South Jersey influencer found dead in Africa over the weekend. The family of Ashley Robinson wants answers. They say the story just doesn't add up. Police say she was found unconscious in a luxury villa in Zanzibar and later pronounced dead at a hospital. CBS Philadelphia's Ross DeMatteis following the story from our newsroom tonight. Ross?
Yuki, still a lot of unanswered questions here. We are still waiting at this hour on the results of Ashley Robinson's autopsy. And that report should provide some answers about whether her fiancé had anything to do with her death.
45-year-old Joe McCann is facing questions about the death of his fiancée, Ashley Robinson. Police say the 31-year-old influencer, who goes by Ashley Janae online, was found unconscious in her luxury villa and later pronounced dead at the hospital just days after the couple got engaged while vacationing together in Zanzibar, a small island off the east coast of Africa.
She was showing us the engagement ring and where they were and where they were staying.
Seeing the sights and
the beautiful scenery. She was happy. It doesn't make any sense.
On Tuesday, investigators in Tanzania said they're questioning McCann and holding his passport until Robinson's autopsy is complete, but officials have not accused him of any wrongdoing.
Do you believe that Joe McCann had something to do with your daughter's death?
We don't want to
have. It's under investigation and we don't know what went on.
In a sit-down with CBS News on Monday, Robinson's parents said they've largely been kept in the dark about their daughter's death, claiming they haven't heard from her fiancé or local officials since.
The fiancé did not reach out to us at all. We found out from the hotel, and that's devastating when you're when your daughter's halfway around the world.
Robinson's mother told news outlets hours before her daughter was rushed to the hospital, she and McCann reportedly had an argument so severe that hotel staff moved them into separate rooms. The government of Zanzibar is asking for patience while police carry out their death investigation, but Robinson's parents want answers.
We have zero contact with the police department, no contact with anyone from the medical field, nothing like that. So, that's the message we want, just transparency. Just transparency. We have no idea what happened. Like, we just don't know anything right now.
And so far, we have been unable to reach Joe McCann, his relatives, or anyone from the investment company that he founded. The State Department says it's monitoring this case. Meanwhile, Robinson...
Now, listen, man, is this dude innocent? Is he guilty? I don't know. All right. Now, this is a third world country. White folks essentially have veto and complete power in third world countries. Trust me, I'm from Liberia. There was a white dude who essentially murdered a young woman in broad daylight in public. Like, the literal, motorist who was riding on his motorcycle, seen this dude over the woman, bloody, and he came and tackled him. This white dude went to trial, got found not guilty, man, and was back in America the next day. He was apparently this Mormon dude, right? So when it comes to third world country, white folks essentially have immunity, right, to all crimes, trust me. So I don't know if this dude is innocent or guilty. The Zanzibar said they did their research, they did their investigation, and they found out that it was no foul play on his end, that she did it to herself, right? Well, the attorney for this dude that's apparently representing him in his fight against, I guess, the family and content creators and working on, I guess, lawsuits and legal pursuits of people who claim that this dude is guilty is a man by the name of Edward Pelzik, all right? He is the same attorney that's representing one of Nolan Wells' friends, okay? Now, you can see right here where he says, my friend and client Joe McCann is creating a 501(c) foundation in honor of Ashley Robinson. So, again, this is some good PR. You go up, and he actually talks about how apparently Joe McCann is suing this reporter called Lisa Durden, right? And he writes, recently Lisa Durden made deeply hurtful and false statements about my friend and client Joe McCann, particularly about the relationship Joe shared with his beloved Ashley Robinson and the circumstances surrounding Ashley's tragic death. Below, please find Ms. Durden's apology and retraction regarding her false statements, et cetera, right? So what this means, I can't call it, okay? Right? Now, would I personally, if I'm Nolan Wells' friends, would I have hired this dude, especially taking into consideration he's already connected to Joe McCann, whose name was in a murder investigation, right? So I don't know, bro, all right? If I'm me, I probably wouldn't have gone with this dude, but they go with him. What this means, I don't know. Now, the friends, on top of that, on top of them all apparently going back to the island, they all apparently sat down with Officer Tatum for their third interview with Tatum. Warren did one on the island. Warren did one at his house. Now Warren is doing one with him and I guess 3 other dudes who are apparently the friends of Nolan Wells.
If you can go back to the very beginning of this, how do you think this should have played out? Because I always question in my mind that when I go back, I look at what happened, I look at the initial stories with Nolan, and you guys knew him, right? I didn't know him. I know none of you guys. I just had a chance to meet you guys more recently. But how do you think this should have gone? If you could control the environment, Nolan is found deceased. How do you guys think that this should have been put out to the world?
Well, first off, I wish we would have never, I think about this every day. I wish we would have never went out on the 4th of July because I know this wouldn't have happened. Nolan wouldn't be gone. And it's really hard to think about because it's like, I wish I would have done this different or I wish I would have done that different because now one of my brothers wouldn't have passed away. But I think from the beginning, I'm glad that I called the Coast Guard and I'm glad that we came together as a group, even from the first day when people started texting us things, saying, crazy things. But I wish it wouldn't have been reported as some type of race thing. I think it's really bad that people are pushing the narrative of, oh, this is a race thing.
I don't quite understand this perspective. When they say it's a race thing, what do they mean? Or when they say people is pushing is a race thing, what do they mean? People said Nolan Wells was hanging out with a bunch of white guys. That's just a fact. That's an indisputable fact. So I guess I don't know when they mean this is a race thing, what do they mean? Right? When people say, hey, yo, Nolan Wells, was on an island, about 2,000 people, and probably 99% of them were white. That's just a fact. Nolan Wells was on a boat with a bunch of white guys, if not all white guys. That's just a fact. When people are reporting the facts of the case, I don't see why you would say it's oh no, they're pushing a race thing. No, they're just reporting the facts of the case, okay? Now, if it was one white guy and let's say 4 black dudes, and they say, no, Nolan Wells was, no, like if they pointed out the one white guy in a group of black folks, then okay, maybe we can have a conversation there, right? But if they're simply pointing out the demographic that was on the island, like for example, right? If black folks says, hey, this is racist, if somebody says, hey, I was just robbed, and the police says, okay, robbed by who? Well, it was a black guy with, with hazel eyes and black dreads, okay? If that's the description of a potential suspect, that's not racist, that's just the description. So if somebody is given a potential description or they're describing potential suspects in a very sketchy, suspicious death, you can't say they're pushing a race thing. They're just listing potential suspects, which is just happen to be white guys, okay?
Well, obviously it's not. I mean, this is like a brother to us. I mean, Nolan's no different than anyone else in our group. And I just wish this wasn't pushed on the media as, oh, this is a bunch of white guys that killed a black guy, or this is, like in the beginning it was like 4 guys went to a stranded island and dumped Nolan at the island and just left him there. Like even from the beginning, it was just like this thing and no one had facts and they were just pushing this horrible narrative, all lies about everyone, and it's sick. So I wish that would have been completely different. I'm glad I called the Coast Guard. I'm glad I made the first contact within all of this. I'm glad I was the first one that called Christine Wells that night and told her that we haven't heard from her son. And I'm glad that I did all of that, but I hate the way this has been perceived by the media and portrayed. This has like been absolutely horrible with the way and the things that they've said to us and done. But other than that, I mean, there's not much I would change from my point of view and my friend's point of view. I think we did everything right, and I know we did nothing wrong.
I also want to say, I think it's so criminal that they took something so anti-racist and flipped it into something super racist. Like they took, this is the definition of anti-racism. I mean, that we did not look at Nolan any different than I looked at him, or even you. This is literally our brother. I mean, like we stated, we did not treat him any different.
Listen, man, that sounds touching. That sounds heartwarming. It do, but the reality here is y'all all left the island together, but Nolan was left behind. So again, it's easy to say we didn't treat him any differently, but y'all all left that island together and your homie was left behind. Now, y'all saying he chose to stay behind. Cool. But y'all all left together and the homie y'all don't treat differently was left behind. So it's hard for us to take your word for it. And if I'm you guys, bruh, stop doing interviews with Tatum. Stop doing interviews with somebody who's not there to offer any pushback or ask the hard questions. Start doing interviews with a neutral outlet. Listen, if you don't want to do an interview with let's say me or Trent Out Loud or Willie D or anybody else, then go do an interview, okay? Go do an interview with TMZ. Go do an interview. Well, no, TMZ at this point is biased because we see how they pushing it. Chris Cuomo is biased. Go find a neutral outlet. Go to like NBC or something, man. All right, go sit down. Nancy Grace. I think Nancy Grace, for the most part, right, has been neutral. Sit down with Nancy Grace and let her ask you questions, okay? If you survive that interrogation, then we can have that conversation, okay? But until then, man, it's like, bro, speaking of Tatum is doing nothing for you guys, bro, at all, bro. It's actually making it worse because Tatum is looked at a certain way.
We didn't treat Trayson any different. We don't treat Trayson any different. And they just flipped it. And I just think that is so wild that they're pushing this thing that they're saying, oh, they want to end racism and all this stuff. Well, they're the one pushing it. They're pushing the racism. And I just think that's kind of crazy.
Morgan, what's your thoughts on this? How does it affect you?
First I want to say I wish this would have never happened. I wish Nolan would still be here with us today. And but in my opinion, I think that the media, they shouldn't have pushed a narrative from so early. I think that they should have let the local officials do their job, let them release statements, and then, the media is obviously going to see that and then do whatever they do. But that's what I trust the local officials.
But coincidentally, the local officials are the ones who started pushing their narratives early. They're the reason why the family had to bring Benjamin Crump in. And coincidentally, though, didn't y'all tell Tatum that y'all believe that something happened to Nolan, that y'all believe that Nolan Walsh was hurt? So y'all told Tatum y'all believe Nolan Walsh was hurt. That's what Tatum said. So if Tatum lied on y'all, then get at him. Y'all just saying we didn't do it. But so if that's the case, if you believe something happened to Nolan, then how can you trust local officials when local official says that there was no foul play? It doesn't make sense, man, right? But y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this, okay? How y'all feeling, man? All right, I'm gonna see you guys in this next video if you're still watching. Adam 22, bro, yesterday was a nightmare for Adam 22. I'm gonna see you guys in this Adam 22 video. Out of here, folks. Peace.